What's up everyone, welcome back to another episode of Weekly Previews, and in this video I will put 2 tracks as I will need to speed up the whole process of reviewing the tracks as there are a bunch of them coming to my mailbox and I am sorting them out. So I will also make the Google Sheet so that everything about sorting is gonna go much easier, so you will be able to find the link below this if you want to apply. And don't send it anymore to my email address. It will be really important to fill up the Google Sheet form, because that way I'll have all the links sorted and I will be able to track much easier which tracks I did review and which I didn't and which one should be next. Anyway, so far I already put all of them into the order, and let's start with this one. So the first track is by Aspect and Altern8 FX. The track name Aspect and Parallel FX. I guess it's I don't know what it is, but anyway, as a one unmastered.
So, if I may start by insulting your intelligence with what is called the most elementary lesson, the thing that we should have learned before we learned 1, 2, 3 and ABC. Somehow overlooked. Now, this lesson is by simplicity. Any experience that we have through our senses, whether of sound, or of light, or of touch, is a vibration. And a vibration has 2 aspects, one more one and the other more one. Vibration seems to be propagated in waves. And so life is a system, and now you see it work. These 2 aspects are working together. Sound is not pure sound. It is a rapid alternation of sound and silence. And that's simply the way things are. It's not pure sound, it is a rapid alternation of sound and silence. And that's simply the way things are. So, if I may start by insulting your intelligence with what is called the most elementary lesson, the thing that we should have learned, but somehow overlooked. Now, this lesson is by simplicity. Any experience that we have through our senses, whether sun, light, action, revolving. And the vibration has two aspects. One for one, the other for all. And although the heads and the tails, the front and the back, the positives and the negatives are different, they're at the same time one.
Okay, it's a pretty good track, I would say. Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah. So it's a pretty good track. What is my first impression is there are too many different grooves, which not necessarily, I don't know, somehow, maybe I'm old-fashioned, maybe it's, I don't know, that I like more older style. I'm not aware of that, and I really don't think that's the case. I am attending a lot of parties where I play where this type of the music is being played, and somehow, I must be honest, but it does irritate me to have this much changes all the time, as I'm aware that we live in a really, really intense period of time where everything is super intense, and that all the social medias and everything that we just scroll, that we just want like dopamine hits all the time, and that we just scroll in order to find something that we're gonna be I don't know, entertained by or something like this, and that this reflects to the music as well. And I do see that younger generations are making this type of music where there are so many changes, but still I believe it must be done with a certain flow. Like this, it's just like jumping from one part to another. I'm gonna cover that a bit later once I start for the track. I will start with the first point. So it starts right away with the melody, like down, 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 down. It does reminds me on more of this Swiss German melodic style, which is not bad. I'm just saying this as something I heard. I did expect like offbeat or something like this, even though the track went into a different direction, which can be a good thing. But in this first part, we have one melody, we have one drone, and now I did not have time to listen to this melody. It gets covered with the vocal straight away. The vocal is really low and it's a bit dirty, and most likely came from sampled from something. So it does need a little bit more work on it to increase its power and to be heard, because in the whole intro I wasn't able to hear even one word. What does it say, or what is the message that is sending, especially because it has this melody on top, and then straight away it's get covered with more melodies. So there's a lot of thing happening without any of this any of these melodies giving or getting the space they need. Again, like, the melody is nice, I get it, but in my opinion, it is simple. It is a simple sound design and it's a simple melody. So one of these must be increased. If we don't need to increase, the best case would be to increase the sound design as well, like to use several layers, to use several different ones to create something interesting to the sound design, and that to be followed with a interesting melody or the interesting notes, interesting combination scales whatsoever. So if that's not possible, then increasing one of these so it has more the power. So like this, it's pretty, I guess it's done pretty fast. This is my opinion, maybe it's not the case, but it's like it wasn't there was not much work around it. So it's nice, it is, but it is something that I heard already, and I would increase or the melody part, or to bring more rhythmical part to the melody, like I don't know, like, if you wish to choose, if you like this type of the melodies, that's completely fine, but try to complicate it, not in a way to have just more material, but to create it a little bit more effective, like spend a bit more time on it. You're just starting a track with it, and now we are coming to the point, like, now in these days, when it comes to the marketing videos and whatsoever, like, the attention span is 3 seconds. We have 3 seconds, let's say, through the social media or with by listening to the music. So if you are not getting the attention of the listener in the first 3 minutes, they are going into the next thing, as we are get covered with data and so many information. So it is important, like, how do we start a track? Is there something interesting? Is there any impression that we give in the first moment? Like this, like, for me, it's like, okay, it's super simple. Okay, it did not get my attention straight away. So I would spend much more time into the intro and trying to get more attention from the listeners in that point as well as this vocal that I already said. I don't see its space over here, or it needs to be cleared out, like maybe combining melody, like tan tan, and then voice to say something, and then bring back to the melody. So I believe that every element should have their own space. If you already place them over there, they should be effective. Otherwise, they don't have space there, and try to find and replace with something else. This is the rule that really works, and if it does not keep your attention, if you don't feel listening to this, then maybe replace with something else. Okay. Now in this point, I don't hear, like, there's a melody and there's a vocal straight away. So how I do that, if the vocal has, or the speech has so many words, I'm trying to extract only the ones that are carry the message. So if there's no space for all of them, like, try to mute. Like, if there are any extra words without destroying the context, like, just remove all of them. Keep only the effective ones, ones that are gonna carry the message, and one that's gonna count. Now we have two melodies, tan 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 tan, and also tan 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 tan, plus the drone one and the vocal. They're not combined, they're not together. Yeah, so that's it. And also tan 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 tan. It's not a bad melody, but still I would maybe play with some modulations on the whole melody, and I would definitely try to find a way better preset for that, like maybe one dun, 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 in a lower octaves, something more bassy, because we in this moment you don't have any bass beside this drone that is just carrying or it's a bass note of the melody that is carrying all of that. But I would play it in a different ways, or maybe increase it with more rhythmical parts, maybe some drums like I don't know. I would play around with it. I would also try to not go like tan 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 tan. When you are designing melody or when you're writing melody, pay attention. The first thing is about the rhythm it creates, because the rhythm is going to be the most important in a Psytrance music. So this is the first. So where are the notes positions, and do they create any rhythm, like tan 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 tan? It's okay, but it can be better. It would be better like tan 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 tan. I don't know. This is just my impression. So try to concentrate on the rhythm, and then bring the melodies and try to transpose them. For me, this is maybe the rule number one in electronic dance music. The rhythm, the groove is gonna carry, and it is the most important. So I would try to serve or to fix the rhythm or the groove at first, and then I will play with the notes and bring as much as I want. But the first or the first rule would be that the rhythm must be good enough.
And so life is a system, how you see it. These two aspects all working together. Sound.
It's okay, but I think, as you already chose to have this uplifting moment, it needs to be a little bit more intense, like maybe more risers, more complications, maybe kicks like or something like snare rolls or something. It just did not bring me to that level. It just like, and that's it. So it did not create anything. While there are tracks that do not use this, but then they have this different game or different philosophy or different approach to everything, while you already chose this uplifting form of a track, but you did not do it pretty intense as it should be. So maybe more uplifters, more risers, more energetic, like, and then create these drops. So if you are playing this game of the contrast, then it must be done much better. This voice, I don't know, it just it's not good enough to be in a track, I would say. Now kick and bass, they are fine. Somehow kick is jumping out. The bass line is not a standard one, which is completely fine, but it must be made a bit bigger. Somehow kick is just bumping while the bass line is more as a synth lead, which is okay, but I would bring more lows on this one, more processing, maybe some multiband distortion on it, and try to find how you can increase it and how you can make it a bit bigger. This is now from the sound design perspective. Also this, I don't know, somehow they don't do much in a track. They didn't create anything that I don't know, like they just did not create this momentum in a track. Like they were just there, like, I believe they just been placed maybe randomly, and I would consider in removing them and maybe adding something different that will have more effect on the whole track. It's still too early in a track, already the groove just started in, and if you increase the groove you will see that you don't need this melody over here. I would now concentrate in this part. You already did your melodic thing in the intro, and if you increase that and then move to the groove, give a little bit of space to the groove itself. People are gonna love it. Honestly, I already said this in everyone, but I guess I'm gonna say it in every video. So when you start with kick and bass, if you do the groove good enough, they should be enough at least for a minute in a 30 seconds. It all depends how you're gonna create changes with the drums together, maybe with this rhythmical, because you already have this boom, 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 which you did really good. So I don't think this, na, 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 I don't know, it just spoiled the moment of the groove. Yeah, I already wrote here, 142 is good. I like da-da-da-da. This is now that groovy moment which I just mentioned in the previous section. So this melody without it, it's going to be just good enough. If you make the bass line a bit stronger, which I already said, like must be stronger, the kick is dominating, kick is like bumping, and maybe the sidechain is a little bit too much, like it's not, it can be good, but maybe if you bring the volume up of the bass line and if you design the bass line to be a bit better. Now do this it must be better. It must be bigger. I'm now talking about moving from mediate level to advanced, so I really hope that nobody's gonna get offended with this. So now I will try to. I do not have videos for beginners. I do target the audience which is really narrow. It's mediate producers that are trying to get into the professional level. So everything that I say, I don't say that's a bad, nor do I criticize anyone as a bad thing. Now I will concentrate on the critics, so what you can do better so that your music become more professional and way better. So if you want to join the league of the professional artists, and these are the critics that I'm gonna talk about. So this melody, it's pretty simple. It's a pretty simple sound design, and it's pretty simple melodically. I would consider not using it, maybe try to use something different. Like if I were you, I would work for in the next period in the sound design, how you can create an interesting sound designs, because with the interesting sound designs, you're going to enjoy all of that, and you will see that you will not need that much notes to create something that sounds interesting and that carry like a lot of attention from the listeners. So how you can make the sounds to be bigger, how to layer all these melodies, and to use maybe a way less notes and to increase the rhythm power, and together with the sound design, it's gonna bring up the whole track to another level. Okay. Now this groove is way better than the first one, I must say, and it really sounds really nice, but I just think it needs to be well better prepared. So this part before, more risers, more of these things, then create this gap, like ta-ta-ta-ta, maybe some fills, and then this groove is gonna have way better effect. And also it's really important that once you are changing the track in a different directions, then the fills are really good to move the track into a different part and bring this as a surprise moment. But before that, I would rise the track to a certain level with the riser, snare rolls, and kicks, or whatever you want to choose. It really doesn't matter, but just to create more tension just before it, create a small gap, bring the fills, and then the whole groove, it's gonna create a way better effect. Yeah. But the groove itself, it's really good, and I really like in which direction it went. Melody that goes should be more interesting. Yeah. Here there is something with the voice. It's disharmonic also. Yeah, it's not correct, or the pitch, or there's something that's a little bit painful in the voice. Yes, this vocal, I don't know, did anybody sing something, or did you put a sample? But I would remove it. It requires a lot of work in order so it sounds at least decent, but I would consider removing that and try to replace with something else, or try to go without it even, like it. When you go into the professional level, you realize that you're gonna do and put a lot of work in a certain sequences, in a certain elements of a track, and then if they don't fit in that track, you're gonna remove them. And this is something that people that are still not on that level are not well to do, because they already spent some time and they feel it's a waste of time. But there's going to be a lot of waste of time, but because the whole track can be done in an hour or two, if that moments, or if their spark is created. So how I see on that is that we're gonna be there in the studio trying until that happens. Sometimes it's gonna happen really fast, sometimes it's gonna take for months. In some cases, in my tracks, it took even years. So there are several tracks which I was writing for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I have a track with Zen Mechanics that I played 2014 in Universal Parallelo. We're just finishing up for release right now, so it's been 10 years already. But this is a different story. So I work on a different tracks simultaneously, and sometimes I just stuck, and that means that this track already had its moment, like to finish a half, and then I'm gonna keep it like until that moment to finish it up comes again. So yeah, let's don't go too wide about this. The 310, I said it's great. Yeah, this is great again, but this is a third groove. So we have this one. And then two suddenly you are stopping. So you just have for 10 seconds, around 10 seconds is just like.
Sound is not pure sound. It is a rapid alternation of sounds. And that's simply the way things are.
Yeah, this was for me just like, oh no, you know, you just started it and it's really good. I will choose maybe two different grooves in the whole track and I will concentrate on them, on those two, because somehow you do these grooves really well. Like only this first one is not that well done because it requires a different set of skills. While this with the notes like na 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 na, you did really, really good. And this one also is. It sounds really good, like with the glides and everything. So I would concentrate, if I were you, more on these types. You need to increase the whole game, the sound design with the kick and the bass. But what are you doing with the notes, and the feeling for the groove is amazing. So you just need to learn how to create way better sound design, kick and bass, and then how to keep that and just feed that groove enough so the track does not become boring. But do not cover it with as much as melodies as you just did over here, because then you are pulling attention from that groove which you already created, which is good. Okay, so the break melody, too easy. Yeah.
If I may, the thing that we should learn.
Yeah, this yeah. I don't know. They are really simple with a simple sound design. So I already said that. I'm not gonna spend more time in that. Stab must be stereo. Yeah. This dum. It's mono and it's just getting inside with the kick and the bass in the same room. There's no need for them to be mono. So please place them in stereo. You can do this on several different ways. One can be mono to stereo plugins. There are tons of them. Another will be to duplicate if it's a mono signal, copy it, make one stereo, make one left, one right, and then put a delay of 5 milliseconds on each of them or on some of them, and it's gonna create a stereo. So it's really waste. So it's not it's mono. Again, this tan 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 tan, it must be better done. You know, it just does not keep my attention. And this break over here, it's close to an end of a track. Now it's the moment to point. Now is the moment when people are gonna dance there, when you're gonna push a track a little bit faster, or when you're gonna put the main thing of a track. And you just created the break and then you brought it offbeat just for the ending of a track, which really does not have much sense, because you could bring any of these over here. So I would choose this rolling one because you already started with this. Okay, and then I would choose I would choose one of these. Some of these, I would most likely use this one for the main part of a track. And then if you go on rolling here, then from this one, maybe to bring to this. It's a way more interesting than the offbeat one, and the offbeat part I would completely delete. I just have a feeling that you did not know what to do, so you created a break and then one more segment of a track. So generally the flow is not good enough. There are no certain things. It's just like, I have a feeling the playing around and putting like all the elements on random places. So try to break up all of this. Try to analyze what is that you like the most for this track, what you don't. Just remove it and start working on a different type of the elements, and then try to listen to a track and create a certain movement. What I felt the track is missing is a bit more single shot sounds. They can be like small melody like and then you can put it on a delay, reverb, or whatsoever. So with this you will be able to keep the dry groove going with just a single one-shot elements that are gonna cover the track and create a bit more ambience. Without single-shot sounds, you need to create a lot of melodies and to keep attention, which might lead you to create way more melodic content than the track is needing. Anyway, let's move to another track. So another track is RSV Sonic Hypnosis. Hypnosis.
I'm stoned, I'm getting more information. When I'm stoned, I feel like my timing better. I feel like when I'm supposed to move into something better.
Okay, so there's a lot of things I would work on this track, and my first impression is that the track from RS Voodoo or Sonic Hypnosis is, my opinion is that it sounds unfinished and it's done pretty fast. So there's not many things that happen in this track. Basically, it's a groove that is spread out through the whole length of the track, like 7.5 minutes. And the groove itself is okay, but it can be better, especially because there's not even one break in the whole track, which not necessarily must be done. But if you wish to make a tracks without any breaks, then there's a complete different philosophy. There must be on top certain things, certain flows. Most likely there are certain developments all the time to the track, certain modulations about melodies, segments, sequences. So far, as I heard, like there's a groove and it's supported with supporting sequences on top of it, like something that we mostly use as a producers to create an atmosphere of a track, but there's no certain happening. It does not need to be melody. It can be rhythmical part. It can be anything that you hear in other people's music as well. So the groove itself, it's good. What I would consider is doing, like the kick is somehow distorting. Maybe it's designed that way, which is not a bad thing, but somehow when the first note is hitting on the kick, like I have a feeling that this first note is not sidechained or it's not ducking good enough. So when there's a kick and the bass note hitting the kick, they amplify that low end level, and this is my impression that this is why it's distorting. So there are ways, like I also have in a certain tracks, like in One Consciousness, like I did not pull the sidechain all the way down, but I did remove all the low frequencies from the bass line when the kick is hitting. So that way only like upper harmonics are hitting in that part, and I'm removing all the low end or all the frequencies from all the kick frequencies I remove from the bassline frequencies, so they don't amplify and they don't create a boost of the signal or the peak in that level, because there's just not enough space on the levels that we produce, especially in this track, which is looking mastered or with the limiter on top. So it's not possible that you have a kick and the full first note of the bassline, even though if it's reduced a little bit, still there's no space. It must be brought down a bit more. So the kick on intro is too loud and bassy. This is the first impression here. And also, like when you are starting a track, I do advise, this is not a must, but that you remove a little bit of lows on the intros and on the breaks on the kick. You can keep everything above 100, but all this from from 100 below, you keep that when the groove is starting. That way you're gonna have this moment of surprise, and this is in the moment of in a track where I usually use the full spectrum of the track. While if there's an intro, I will remove a little bit of low end, because that way this moment when the kick and bass are starting is not a big surprise, and also you just spoiled up this first part. So I would put like one high cut filter, low pass, and high pass filter. So just put one on 100, and then you open with the high cut. You open all the way up, and then when the kick and bass are starting, you spread them all the way in full. So this is the first thing. The better flow on the intro. The intro is in a triplet, which I kind of liked.
When I'm stoned, I'm getting more information.
But there's nothing. So it did not. You did not create a flow of our tracks straight away. I did not have any expectations. I was really curious, like what's gonna happen. Like I did not have any impression, and I honestly believe that once we start making a tracks, we should say something. We should express something. We should express certain emotions or the groove or whatever it is. But do not just start a track. I honestly advise that you do not start a track just to make it done. Like try to plan it. Try to understand what is that you want to create. What does work on you when you listen to other people's music? What is that you like the most when you listen to your favorite artist? What is that artist is touching you? What is the emotions that it creates? And once you analyze that, you try to find a ways like what that artist that you are listening to are doing in order to create that what you like the most. As honestly, I believe that what you like the most personally to listen, this is what you're gonna do the best. Usually I extract this from other artists, but on the end I just create something different. So again, I'm using a certain spark or certain influence from other artists once they create this, and then I use this feeling that they created on me to create something, even though I always create something different. So it's somehow like there's a certain bubble of inspiration that is filling up somewhere. I don't know where that do we keep it, but when it just gets filled up, then I can do anything in a track, because I'm just gonna get hooked, like my I don't know, my listening I'm just like going into this music zone, and then everything just start getting out from me naturally. So try to analyze what it is, and again, like try to, whatever you do, like in whatever moment of your career you are, if you are on the beginning, try to create a track flow, like from the beginning. Try to write a story, try to say something in a way of the musical journey, like how do you gonna get up on the level. Would you have this, what is exactly you want to create? Should it be deep and groovy? Like for me, this track is kind of this new style, like which is not a bad style at all, but try to analyze what are other artists are doing in order to create a certain depth, certain vibe. What is that works in their tracks? Once you analyze that, then practice the how you can achieve that in your music, and then try to borrow the ideas from other ones, and then combine all that together. You will get your own style. Like this, I really have feeling that the track is unfinished. Like FXs, like they really can be way better. And I guess when I say FXs, I mean on the sound design and the single shot sounds. What I do like is that they are not just the single shots. There are certain modulation is happening, like, but just you should learn how to increase that, how to spread it, how to create them to sound bigger, because it's just the groove or the kick and bass and these sounds. So try to bring their quality to the bigger level, and that way it's gonna have way more sense. This pop that just happened, it's kind of in a highs, and I guess it's a high pass filter on the effects, but with this super low end kick and bass, it's just like, I don't know, they're not paired enough. So they also, these sounds, they should be kind of similarly designed in order to they create a certain unity together. Okay, all right, sorry. again, these arps now, so the kick and bass, they brought me to a certain level that I expected the track is deep. All this, I expected more something of a Xenon style, more deep, darker, twisty, whatsoever. But and then I have this, which are pretty light and like up there, and somehow they don't fit to each other in a certain way, and I did expect that all the sounds are going to be a way lower in the lower octaves, and that way it's going to they're going to create a better unity. Till the 27th. Something already needs to happen. Like there's already minute and a half. Yeah, minute and a half, and it even before that, it just didn't kept my attention. So there's something needs to happen. You know, like there's certain movement. Like track needs to develop. Whatever kind of a groove you do, you can do the best kick and bass. But if you wish to keep them from 55th second till the 7th minute, you need to create so many things that are gonna involve all the time, because you don't have a break, so there are no ups and downs. Like the track energy is a pretty constant, but then you need to keep the attention or with the things that are happening, like melodies, whatever it is. It can be sound designs that are gonna keep the attention, and they needs to progress, they need to evolve. Like the track needs to go up and down, and if you wish to keep the attention of the listener, I know that this, like keeping the attention of the listener, it's a pretty analytical approach, but this is just the way how I can express why people are listening to the music, because there are certain progress, like it's going up, there's a verse, there's an intro, there's a break, there's a groove, there's this and that, and this is why we enjoy making music. I don't say that you should be analytical that way. I honestly believe that it should come from the inside of yourself, but in order to explain what you should do and what you should listen, I need to use this analytical approach, while I'm completely against of using analytics in the music, as it all should come naturally. But the track flow is one thing that I always hear is missing today, and yeah, so this is what I would work on most likely. Groove must be supported with more interesting sounds. Yeah, my dog is here. Yeah, so another thing, like fast hi-hat. So there are fast hi-hats like and with the open head like, but the groove is, I wouldn't use these fast hi-hats. So in this track groove mode, like I would use like without these fast hi-hats, because they don't serve this track. The main idea of this track is that it's deep, and like it does not have like them, and then like you need to bring fast hi-hats like in order to push that a little bit further on, and the whole track would be going into different direction. So I would use maybe shakers, but if you use shakers, use a lot of sidechaining, like even I wouldn't in these parts, like when it's kind of close to an offbeat, I wouldn't use any fast hi-hats. They just don't match the groove itself for a certain reason. So maybe different loops, something more interesting that's gonna go on sidechain or whatever. You can try like live drum loops. I use a lot of from Stylus. I still use Stylus from Spectrasonics. And when I want to support, I put a lot of sidechain on that with the filters and certain modulations. They can create a really interesting story. 3:30, it must stop certain moment. It just continues, and yeah, I would make a break, because it did not many things happen, and as well break would help this track to go a bit down, and then something musically, something interesting that's gonna happen on the break, and then move back to the groove. It can increase. Yeah, as well I wrote like it's monotonic. The whole track is you know, like sounds a bit. Yeah, as I said, like not many things happen. Like a loop extended to, yeah, so it sounds like a whole loop extended. It's like you drop the kick and bass, did the elements, certain sounds, and then you just stretched out to the whole track. So as well, I don't want to repeat myself, but there is no any movement, there is no flow, there nothing happened in the track. So I would consider this track as a starting loop, and there is still tons of things that must be done. So whatever you want to feel, I cannot advise you what you should do, because I don't want to advise you creatively to make a music that I like. So this is why I'm not using any of my ideas what I would do with this track, because that way it would be my track, not yours. So open hat is mono. I would always put open hat in stereo. It really does not have any sense to put it in mono, because kick and bass are mono, and there's a super important and logical reason why kick and bass are mono, because the low end should never be in stereo for various reasons, and the most important one is that you don't know what PA systems your track is going to be played on. Many clubs have mono sound systems, especially for the low end, and then if you use stereo, you don't know how it's going to sound on a different PA systems. And regarding the phase issuing and whatsoever, it can create that your whole track stay without any low end if you have stereo bassline whatsoever. But because of that, there's no need to create any other elements that are mono. They just will not be able to fit in a track, because there are so many space, like there's a center, left and right, and then if you place it in a center, it's just in a center. So you are not able to hear them like on left and right side of the whole track. And if you spread it in stereo, it's going to have still some signal in center, and it's going to have some signal in the left and some signal in the right, and it's going to sound way more open, and it's going to be placed in a mixer way better. Yeah, honestly, there's not many things I can say about this track, as I honestly feel it's unfinished, and I would consider like making a break, or even though maybe try to use certain arrangements for some artists. And if you are still practicing, and if you are still trying to find your way to your sound, then maybe try to analyze one of your favorite artists and try to copy what they did. And when I say copy, is a really good practice in order to extract the knowledge from them and gain a practice of listening and understanding what's working in their tracks. That way you're going to learn a lot what you need to do in your tracks. And the more of these tracks you analyze, the more artists you analyze, the more knowledge you will extract to yourself, and you will be able to use them once you are working on your track. So you work your track, and then like, okay, I need something here. Oh, maybe I can use something like that I use in this track. No, it doesn't work. Maybe I can use something like that. Oh, this maybe, but I'm gonna try this technique that this guy used in this track. Okay, this is a great fit. And then you're gonna start combine, and that way you're gonna find out your way. All right, so this is already almost an hour. So yeah, I covered 2 tracks in this video. And again, please, if you want to submit your tracks, please fill up the Google form below, because that way it's going to be way easier for me to track what tracks I should review the next, even though I have the full list already that I still need to go through. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon with another video. And as well, if you wish, because already having a lot of questions, if you want to request mixing services, mastering services, please just go on my website www.clipmusic.com, and you will find the services up there, and there is where you can gain all the information. Thank you very much for watching, and see you soon with another video. Bye.